Ooh, yes, very exciting. I've just got this very interesting notice that's popped up on my screen, which is new. So clearly, something's been changed in the back end in Zoom. So yep. So it's currently yes. I can see that we've got people joining, logging at the moment. Fantastic. Right, I'm just going to set a few things going whilst people log in. It can sometimes take 5 minutes or so for people to join. So bear with us a couple of moments while people do that. Um, so attendees can chat that. So yep, very good afternoon. My name is Kim. I'm the Outreach and Communications Coordinator here at UCL Biochemical Engineering. It is a dark and wintry evening here in London where we're based. Yes, so we're very grateful to everyone who's joined us. And if you're watching this as a recording, thank you for logging in and watching it. Yep, so this is part of the PG Open series at UCL. This is to discuss the Biochemical Engineering MSc program, a 1 year postgraduate taught degree that we teach here in UCL Biochemical Engineering. As I said, my name's Kim. If you have any technical problems throughout this session, you can let me and Petra know in the chat function. So if you're logging in with a mobile device, you may not have noticed, but you've got a series of buttons at the bottom, and you can message us using the chat function. You can rearrange the orientation of the screen so you can see the presentation or me or Petra or neither, whatever works for you best on your device, however you've got it tipped up. So have a look through the controls and see what works for you. You can post a question at any time during the session, but we're quite likely to leave them until the end if we get any. We've left plenty of time, but we'll go through the session, and if anybody has any questions, we'll answer them. If not, we'll leave it to you. Whilst I'm waiting for people to log in as well, I do want to mention that we have a very exciting series of virtual taster lectures coming up in spring. UCL is just about to turn 200, still young. We're barely getting going at 200 years old. We're using it as an excellent opportunity to highlight some of the achievements that we've had. We're also using it as an opportunity to completely remodel the front of the building at UCL, the main quad. So it's turmoil at the moment. It's going to look amazing in February. So if you do come and join us, you'll have got past all the building and you'll be able to come in and see the totally renovated and refreshed front quad. But as part of that, we're doing a series of virtual taster lectures for the Department of Biochemical Engineering. We've got some on vaccine manufacture. We're doing one on cell-free synthesis, which is a really interesting area that we're working in. And one of Petra's team is going to do one on lab-grown meat, and he's going to look at somewhat of the history, the regulation, and how we got to where we are now, and say how close he thinks we are to not so much thinking of lab-grown meat as anything other than meat. So that's Ben, and it's going to be a really exciting session. This is a sector that we've been really pioneering for a while. So it's a chance for us to look at our history of the sector, and where we're going to be going as part of our UCL 200. Once we're going, and I've handed over to Petra, I'll pop a link in the chat. So if you want to sign up for that, please do, and sign up anyway, because once you've signed up, you'll get to see the recording afterwards. And finally, this session is being recorded. We'll be sharing a link afterwards so you can watch it back if you want to. Okay, Petra, over to you.
Right, thank you, Kim. Can you hear me okay, first of all? Yeah, perfect. And you can see the slides okay as well, just to confirm. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Petra Hanga. I'm an associate professor at UCL in the Department of Biochemical Engineering. And I'm also the program director and the admissions tutor on the MSc in Biochemical Engineering. So I'm absolutely delighted to be here and tell you all about this program, how amazing it is and exciting, of course. And hopefully, you will find the information that I'll be sharing today very useful in at least giving you an idea of what this MSc program is offering. Oh, there we go. Okay, sorry for a second. I was panicking because it wasn't moving. So, right. So, in terms of the presentation today, I will first do a very brief introduction about UCL, so that just give you a few facts about recent facts about UCL to get a feel for the caliber of UCL. Then I'll talk a little bit about the Department of Biochemical Engineering. We're quite a small department within the Faculty of Engineering. but we are a very collaborative department. And then I'll talk a little bit about myself, and then I'm going to move on to introducing the program. It is an accredited program, so I'll be explaining what the accreditation status means, and then what are the entry requirements for admission on this program. I'll talk a little bit about the program structure. And then, of course, I'm sure you'll have questions about the dissertation projects, because most of you would like to get that experience of doing real life work, so real life research. And that's the opportunity to do it within a master's. And then I'll try and highlight some of the important aspects related to this program that are quite unique. And obviously, what will help you gain at the end of this program. And one of those unique aspects is the modular training for bioprocess industries, the MBI training, which is unique to our department at UCL. And then, of course, I'm sure you're all wondering, what are the typical career destinations for our students? So I will finish on that. So UCL today, Kim mentioned UCL main quad, which is what you are seeing in this image here, is going through massive renovations now and is going to look absolutely amazing. All we've seen so far, even as staff, is just images of how it's going to look like. So we are definitely extremely excited about seeing the finished version of this. But it is a big anniversary for UCL. We are turning 200. So that's obviously a very big milestone to celebrate. And how best to celebrate it, then invest in the campus and make it as appealing and sustainable as well, because sustainability is at the core of UCL. But UCL is one of the very best universities in the world. Last year, we ranked 9th in the world. Last year as well, we were named the University of the Year 2024 by the Times and the Sunday Times Good University Guide. And as part of the REF 2021, which is the Research Excellence Framework in the UK, we were second in the UK for research power. There will be another REF in 2029. So hopefully we will keep this ranking, which I'm sure we will, given the excellent research that takes place at UCL. Our department, Biochemical Engineering, we are based in the Bernard Katz building, which is the one that you can see, well, kind of from the side, you can see in the image. We are quite a small department within the Faculty of Engineering, but we have a long legacy. We were the first department to dedicate itself to biochemical engineering research and teaching. And this is in the UK, not in UCL. So we are a small department. As I said, we are about 30 members of academic and teaching staff, but we are very research intensive. So that means we have over 100 doctoral researchers and also around 30 postdoctoral researchers. And our facilities, research facilities, and we also have a pilot plant facility. There are multi-million-dollar state-of-the-art facilities. And actually, as part of being a student in our department, you get to access some of these facilities through different training modules and even through the research projects. So we are very, very research intensive, which means that we do have a lot of active grants, and these generally total, multiple tens of millions of pounds in research, because obviously those funds are pay for that amount of doctoral and postdoctoral researchers. And because this is biochemical engineering, of course, all the research that we do is very translatable to the industry. So we do have a significant number of projects working with industrial collaborators. So who am I? As I said, I am an associate professor in biochemical engineering in this department. I only joined UCL in 2021 as a lecturer. And last year I was promoted to associate professor. And actually, since I joined in 2021, I've been the program director and the admissions tutor for this MSc in biochemical engineering. Before UCL, I was a lecturer at Aston University in Birmingham for about 4 years. And before that, I was a postdoctoral researcher at Loughborough University. And that's where I've done my PhD as well at Loughborough. And by training, I am a biochemical engineer. Right, so let's talk about this program, because I'm sure that's why you are here, to learn about the program, not learn about me particularly. So the MSc in Biochemical Engineering, as the name suggested as well, it is focused on the core biochemical engineering principles that enable translation of advances in the life science into real processes or products. So what you're going to learn through this MSc program is all around biochemical engineering. So on one side, you will learn the engineering skills like bioprocess design, bioreactor engineering, downstream processing. You will also learn the life science that is required for you to be able to translate advances in the lab, at the lab scale, into products or industrial scale. So we're talking about things like molecular biology. There are several modules that dive into vaccine development, other techniques like using microfluidics. And of course, as a biochemical engineer, we also need to understand the ethics, the regulatory aspect, and of course, as part of being an engineer, control is at the core of it. So that means we also look at quality control. We also look at management of risks, etc. And commercialization. That is also a skill that you can develop through this program as well. Right, so you know, perhaps I am a bit biased because obviously I'm representing this MSc program, but looking at competitor programs and what else is out there, I can very confidently say that the MSc in Biochemical Engineering is quite unique. And I can explicitly say why it is unique. One, it is unique because it's not designed only for engineering graduates. Most MSCs that are in engineering subjects will only admit engineering graduates. But for this MSc, we actually designed it to allow both science graduates and engineering graduates to learn the necessary skills and knowledge to work in the bioprocessing industries. And this is quite unique. Because I haven't seen this anywhere else in the UK, and potentially even internationally, this is quite a new concept. This program also allows you access to industrial training courses. And as I said, we are a department of biochemical engineering. So that means that we work with industry quite closely. And because of these intense links with industry, within our department, we've actually developed the MBI courses, which are the modular training for the bioprocess industries. Through this MSc program, you actually get access as part of the program to some of those MBI modules. And those are linked to the dissertation project. And what, I mean, I will talk about the MBI courses a bit more in detail in the next slides, but just to give you a bit more detail at this stage, the modular training has been designed for the industries. So that means that actually we get to learn from people from industry that have worked in this area for decades, and they have a immense experience in producing biopharmaceuticals or biological products. And also, this is designed for people from industry, not necessarily from startups, but from industry moving into a new field, into this field. And essentially, they have the opportunity to come and learn the skills that they will need to get their processes going. So you get a chance with the MBI courses to actually sit next to people from industry, network with them, communicate with them, make connections, because they can be your future employers at the end of this program. And also, the third point why this program is unique, it is because it is one of the few biochemical engineering focused programs in the UK that is actually accredited by a professional body, and that professional body is the IChemE, the Institution of Chemical Engineers. Right, so what is this accreditation, you might ask yourself? And why is it so important? It is important because it's actually quite difficult to achieve on programs, on taught programs like MSCs or undergraduate programs. But it is important because it provides a benchmark of the quality of the academic program that has received the accreditation. So that means that actually all the teaching, the delivery, all the material, all the assessments are designed and are designed so that they actually provide this high standards, which are internationally recognized standards. So, and one thing why it's quite important as well is that at the end of this MSc, depending on the route that you will be on, if you come from a scientific background or from an engineering background, you will have different levels of accreditation. And that accreditation means that you've actually got the skills that are of high quality as required. And in some respect, it gives the employers more confidence that actually graduates from this program will have everything that they need in order to work as biochemical engineers. Right, so how can you be admitted on this program? The entry requirements are quite simple. You need a minimum of a second-class bachelor degree from a UK university, or the equivalent of a second class if you come from an overseas institution. So, for example, if you're not sure if your degree is the equivalent of a second class, you can go on to the UCL website, search for the MSc in Biochemical Engineering. Kim will put a link in the chat shortly. And if you go to entry requirements on the page of this program, you will actually find a drop-down menu where you can select your own university and you can check the equivalency of your bachelor degree if it fits this criteria. In terms of subjects, as I said, we're not just looking for engineering graduates. So any engineering graduates are welcome to apply, of course, but we're also looking for science graduates. So any subjects like biochemistry, biotechnology, bioengineering, anything along these lines. We've had molecular biology in the past as well. We've even had brewing in the past, brewing graduates apply, but which is still a part of biotechnology, perhaps a bit more focused. But anything around these subjects, you are welcome to apply to our program. And of course, your applications will come to me, so I will make a decision based on your application. One additional entry requirement is that you show evidence of numerical ability, because at the end of the day, it is a engineering program. So we do need to make sure that you do have the right level of mathematics to be able to do well in this program, of course. So that means that if you, in your undergraduate degree, you've already done a mathematics module, that is perfectly acceptable. I will see that on your transcript. If that's not visible on the transcript, then usually what I do is I ask for further information, so for further evidence on the numerical ability. So that can also be a A-level mathematics, for example, that is also acceptable, or calculus, or anything in this area. One thing to note as well is that if you do have any recent and relevant industrial experience, that is also taken into consideration. You are actually very encouraged to apply, because you do bring additional skills that can be extremely useful. Right, so as I've mentioned, the program is designed to admit both science graduates and engineering graduates. This is because of the way it was designed. So if you come from a scientific background, you will be admitted on the MSc Biochemical Engineering for Scientist route. If you come from an engineering background, generally, if it's not biochemical engineering or bioprocess engineering, you will be admitted to the 4 engineers route. But if you have graduated from a biochemical engineering or bioprocess engineering already, then we have a pathway within the 4 engineers route, which is called the Advanced Biochemical Engineering pathway. In terms of the curriculum, for the 4 scientists, so if you are a science graduate, this is a snapshot of the modules that you will take in term 1, term 2, and of course in term 3. In term 2, you can choose one. You have to choose one optional module only, and we have a pool of modules from which you can choose. And if you look at the different modules that you will be taking, because you have the science background that is required now, through this program, you will be learning the engineering knowledge that you will need in order to become a biochemical engineer. So you will see you have modules looking at fluid flow and mixing in bioprocesses. You would have modules looking at bioprocess mapping, downstream processing, advanced bioreactor engineering, heat and mass transfer in bioprocesses, bioprocess validation and quality control, and of course, laboratory skills. And the final project is a bioprocess design dissertation, and I will talk about this a bit more in detail later. For the 4 engineers, so if you come from an engineering background, then you get to choose a optional module in term 1 and one optional module in term 2. And then you would see that in terms of the modules that are available to you, you're still learning some of the advanced engineering, which you would have not done during your engineering degree, but you're also learning a bit more of the advanced science. So you will see you will have modules such as fundamental biosciences, sustainable industrial bioprocesses and biorefineries as part of the curriculum. And of course, as optionals, you can choose between vaccine bioprocessing, industrial synthetic biology, biomicrofluidics, or in term 2, commercialization of research, validation and quality control, or advanced process control. If you come from a background, a biochemical or bioprocess engineering degree, you will have common modules with the 4 engineers, particularly in term 1. However, the options are completely different. But in term 2, the curriculum is slightly different. So you will have separate modules to the 4 engineers. And what I haven't mentioned is that both the 4 engineers and the advanced biochemical engineering pathway will do a research project at the end. So that means you actually get to go in the lab and work on a research project. And again, I will talk a little bit more about this in the next slides. So examples of dissertation projects, the scientists will do a design project only. And this is a requirement of accreditation. So as part of being an engineer, you need to have done an element of design. So because those of you from the 4 scientist route come from a scientific background, you would not have done a design project at all. And as I said, a requirement of accreditation, because it is a big part of being an engineer, you do need to fill in this gap and do a design project. So for example, last year, the design project dissertation was focused on COVID vaccine production. So there were several scenarios that were given, and it's focused on group work as well as individual work. And the students had to design a manufacturing facility for the scenario that was given to them, all within the theme of adenovirus-based COVID vaccine production. For the 4 engineers in advanced engineering, as I said, a research project is done, and these are inspired from the research that takes place within our department. So I've given a few titles here. You will see there's quite varied, because the staff in the department, the academic staff in the department, do research along multiple areas, multiple themes. So you can have projects in the cultivated meat space. You can have projects in tissue engineering, like a very interesting title was Traceable Tissue Engineering for the Fashion Industry. You can have projects looking at mathematical modeling, epitope prediction in autoimmunity, predicting the future of rheumatology, or computational modeling of a novel enzymatic plasmid DNA manufacturing protocol. You can have projects in the vaccine space, or you can just have projects looking at designing bioreactors or designing certain elements of bioreactors. So there is a variety of research projects taking place in the department, and of course those are what inspire the research projects for this program. Right. So what will you gain from this program? Well, first of all, you will get an accredited degree if you meet all the graduation conditions, of course. You also get access to our state-of-the-art multi-million pounds laboratory facilities in the Advanced Center for Biological Engineering, which is based in Bernard Katz, where we are. And that is through both the research project for the engineers and the advanced biochemical engineering pathway, but also through the practical sessions that you all, both scientists and engineers, will do as part of the biochemical engineering laboratory module. You also get access to our MBI training. And of course, you will develop skills that are in high demand in a variety of industries, including in emerging industries like cellular agriculture or cultivated meat. The last point I want to touch on is the MBI training, the modular training for the bioprocess industries. So as I said, these are very unique to our department. And they are UCL accredited. But what is so unique is that they are designed together with people from industry, and they are delivered for both industry, academics. Sometimes we even get civil servants joining these courses because it is a subject that they need extra knowledge in to do their jobs, etc. These are quite short courses, a couple of days at most, but they are very, very intensive. So they are all-day type courses that comprise of lectures, seminars, workshops, sometimes case studies, depending on the subject of the MBI course. And as I said, the most important thing is that it's such a unique opportunity to gain, to network with people from industry and make connections in industry. And of course, if, those connections sometimes can lead to actually getting jobs at those companies as well. The last thing is career destinations for our students, our graduates. And as you can see from these graphs, in terms of employment, more than 60% of our graduates have ended up in highly skilled work. Quite a good proportion has moved on to higher studies, so that means PhDs. And then some of our students as well, they actually, and probably this is quite an unexpected career pathway, but some of them actually end up in finance or accountancy. And yeah, very few, or at least at the time of this survey, were unemployed. And in terms of the destinations, the majority end up in industry, followed by accountancy and financial services, which is quite a big proportion, definitely higher than we expected. It's a very intense program. You learn a lot. There's unique opportunities to make friends as well. There's unique opportunities to make connections, to learn skills that otherwise are perhaps a bit more difficult to learn. But there's also a lot of extracurricular activities and a lot of social events that we organize as part of the department, where you get both the staff, the undergraduates, the master students, the research students joining these things. And we actually have students in the department, both from postgraduate and undergraduate, that are leading several UCL societies. And a lot of these social events are organized by them. Yeah, I would like to leave it at that. I've left a few details. If you want to stay in touch with us, you can connect on the different social media platforms. Yeah, we're here to take any questions that you might have. And thank you so much for listening.
Great, thank you, Petra. So we'll leave that on the screen for a moment. Just to reiterate as well, if you don't make a note of these, or afterwards you think there's something that you'd like to follow up, please just go onto our website and you can contact us through the email address on there. You can email me, and I'll pop before the end of this. I'll pop my email address in as well. If you've got any questions about the program, about enrollment, anything like that, get in touch with us, and we'll be happy to help. If you've got any questions, anything you'd like me or Petra to answer, probably more for Petra, but if you've got anything that you'd like to ask, please use the Q&A function. You can actually post them anonymously if that would be easier for you. It's completely up to you what you want to do, but we've set aside some time for that, but we don't have to stay here if you've got no questions. But like I say, if something does occur to you afterwards, you can ask us again. If you missed the start of this session, I'll be contacting the UCL Central team, and they'll be sending out a link to be able to watch this back. So you'll be able to review this and see the start of it if you didn't log in time. So what I'm going to do is, whilst I type my email address in the chat, I'm just going to ask Petra quickly to talk about the Lab Grow Meet conference that hopefully is coming up next year. Or is it happening again this year?
Actually, we're not doing it again this year,
Oh,
unfortunately,
I'm sorry to hear
Kim.
that. I really enjoyed the Lab Grow
We've
Meet
already
conference.
done, yeah, so we've done this every year now for the past 3 years. But we do have, UCL and us actually at UCL, we are a part of the Cellular Agriculture Manufacturing Hub, CARMA. So Karma does a annual meeting where usually around September time, that is open to students as well. If they want to join it, they're more than welcome to join it. And we always advertise these events in the department, just in case there are students, including undergrads and masters, that are interested in attending. But the Karma Annual Conference, it's a great opportunity if you are interested in alternative proteins and you want to learn more about the type of research that's going on, about the challenges that this industry is facing, etc. That's an absolutely great opportunity to learn about all those things.
Fantastic, thank you. Okay, so I've put my email address in the chat. If you want to make a note of that, by all means do, copy it down. I've also put a link to the prospectus, but it's really easy to find that. You can go onto our website and find details of that as well. Do have a look through the list of modules, and if anything, you need clarification for anything, get in touch. And do come along and join us for the virtual taster lectures. They should be really good fun. I'll be inviting Petra to come along to Ben's talk. So if there's anything that you'd like to ask about her work in that field or anything more generally, please do. They're really, really interesting. And we get some great questions, some really good interactions. But it's a fantastic opportunity to engage with our researchers and our academics, find out what they're actually doing. Which the particular areas of research, particular areas of interest, and what they're working on. So do come along to those. It'd be great to see you for those. But in the meantime, thank you very much for joining us today. If you're watching a recording, thank you for joining. Thank you for watching the recording, and we hope to see you in person at UCL for our 200th year. So until then, take care and have a great day.
Take care, everyone.